When they first suspended the season, I think in my head I always felt like they were going to come back and play. And I remember I was also in the same process of starting to recruit for my summer prospect team. I've gone to the Boston Chowder Cup the previous 2 years, so I continued to recruit for that. And I remember one of the mums from one of the kids in Barrie said to me, she goes, "Okay, now do you have any refunds in place for if the tournament doesn't go because of COVID?" And I'm like, well, yeah. I said, I'm not going to take money until I know for sure the tournament's on. But I remember thinking in my head, like, there's no way this tournament's not going to run. Like, this is in August and we're in March. Boy, was I wrong. There's certainly fear, and I still probably have that same fear that, you know, I don't think they're just going to go get rid of everybody, but if there's no league to scout, what do they need scouts for? And that fear is still very real, considering we're the only league in the world and still not playing. My upbringing in hockey, I was actually a goaltender, which most people seeing me around the rinks now don't associate me as being a goaltender at all, because I've really focused a lot on the player development side of skills and skills-based. I was a coach for a long time here in Kingston, scouting in the OHL and in the NHL. So usually when I tell people I'm a goalie, they get kind of surprised and taken back from it. But you know, the quick Coles Notes version of it is, as soon as I finished playing, I got right into coaching. I think 3 years in, I was an assistant coach with the Kingston Junior A team here, the Voyageurs. The next 2 years, I worked as a video coach with the Kingston Frontenacs in the OHL. And then when I went back and coached the minor midget team in Kingston for a couple years, that's probably when I grew my network base the most. And shortly after that, I started scouting with Peterborough in the OHL. And then a few years later, I got an interview with Pittsburgh. I had a relationship with somebody who was previously there as well. And then, yeah, the last 5 years been with Pittsburgh. I've opened up my own hockey business on the side. Fine Line at the time was running one of the first companies coming in doing power skating, skill development, things of that nature. And so I worked there for, I think it was maybe 2.5 years as under the Fine Line umbrella, where at that time we were FL Hockey. And then it was going in, I guess, 1.5 years ago now. My old boss at Fine Line just came up to me one day, and I guess it was mid-August, and he said, "Hey, I'm retiring." And I was like, "Retiring? What do you mean?" Like, he goes, "I'm going to give you the business." So taking it from FL Hockey and rebranding it Torres Hockey, it encouraged me to take on more, go different places, grow. I started. We did summer programs a little bit with FL. I grew it even more. And it's been, you know, they always say you have to start small and build yourself up. I think the skill development, the coaching, the scouting, it all kind of works hand in hand. As a coach, you know what you look for as a player. The player development side, you know what works at higher levels. So, and then the scout side, you know what 10 trends you're looking for in the game, and kind of they all intermingle with each one. So walking into Pittsburgh, I just got hired and they had just won the Stanley Cup in 2016. So here I am, the new guy walking in, and everybody's getting their Stanley Cup rings and they're all talking about their days with the cup. And I'm thinking, you know, can we go again? Can we win again? Like how often does that happen? Not really. So we had a tough first 2 rounds, but it was fun and exciting as you kind of went through this emotional roller coaster. We were able to get by Washington in a tough series. I always remember, think back to like, one comment was, we got blown out in Game 6.
The Penguins and Marc-Andre Fleury hustle off. The Capitals stay around to enjoy this.
And I remember Mike Sullivan just calmly going, oh, we'll be ready to go tomorrow. And even the game without Crosby, it was like, what are you going to do? You don't have Crosby. He's like, we'll ice a team that we think is going to be good enough to win a game. And we did. We won those 2 games.
And still, they're halfway there. Marc-Andre Fleury registers a shutout.
Once we had a chance to clinch the cup, they flew all of us into Nashville. Yeah, we had our whole staff there. We were able to win a game 2-0. We killed off a late 5-on-3 penalty in the third.
The Penguins again are the Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah, and then it was like all bedlam took off at that point. I remember, you know, hugging my boss, Randy Sexton, the group that was there, and you know, you sat up, watched for a bit, then they shoot you down to the ice, and then you're you're on the ice. You're taking it all in. You know, whether it's in the room, we went back to the hotel, and we had we literally all night, but it felt like it was just like time stood still.
Can I touch it before y'all go? Can I touch it?
I guess for me, it doesn't feel like work. You know, I can remember when I had my full-time jobs, being a computer programmer and just different jobs that you've had over the years, working for different facets of government. It was always kind of the hockey stuff on the side that you would just stay up till oodle hours of the night, you know, working on video, creating videos, you know, looking for different, whether it be drills, system tactics, whatever, trying to grow and increase your knowledge base.
You know, scouting to me is it's very competitive. It's in a different regard than playing, because you know there's many scouts at all the games, and everyone sees players differently. And you know, it's you want to be the guy that you know is right. I mean, and we're not right all the time. I mean, you know, we're wrong on guys, but it's just a competitive environment in that aspect, because you know you want to get your lists. You want your team to be able to draft the best players possible.
So I guess in a pre-COVID year, I had ice on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for the most part, usually an hour. Sometimes the Thursday, Friday slots would change, just because the OHL is very much a weekend-driven league.
I got a routine where I'm up early and you know do my game reports from the following night. So get that done, then do some prep work for my upcoming game, which would be later on that day, that evening. You know, just follow up with some notes, and if I've got to make any calls, you know, regarding certain players being in the lineup, or you know, if they're back from injury, whatever.
A lot of it is knowing the players, knowing who you're looking to try to scout and evaluate, and try to find the right game.
I was surprised as everyone, but I mean, you know, knowing what was going on in the world, I mean, I think it obviously was the right thing to do. I mean, it was certainly out of control at that point, and yeah, it was devastating, and everyone was in the same boat. I know I was on my way to a game in Peterborough, and our boss sent out a mass email saying that you know everyone's to get off the road and get home, and it's just the way it was. It was kind of surreal.
Usually what we would do as a staff is we meet at the start of the hockey season. The last few years has been in Buffalo. There's been a rookie tournament, so you get to see all your prospects play against Buffalo, Boston, New Jersey's a little 4-game mini tournament. That's kind of the unofficial start of our scouting season, where we usually have a little scouting workshop, kind of go over some of the any process changes for the upcoming year, and then it's like, okay, we have this rookie tournament, now everybody goes off in the field, and we start kind of evaluating the players for the upcoming draft. So we had that in January. We went back and we were just getting ready to hit into the playoffs of the OHL season when things started to get canceled. Once we realized things were canceled, we actually, as a staff, started doing WebEx interviews. And our boss wanted to do them early when things were still fresh in our mind, because it wasn't sure if the things were going to come back up or not. So what I found very different was leading into the draft and our final meeting, like I felt like I didn't know the players outside of my area, because we were all individual meetings, and then when we got together for a group, it was just like, okay, here's the list, and we didn't go through it as we normally did, because it's hard to just sit there.
We were following what we could on video, and then just being as diligent as we can without being able to attend live games.
There's a lot of scouting being done on video, which is good. I don't think it can substitute being there. I think there's things when you're in the building you can see that you can't see on video. Here, I think even that much more, because the kids aren't playing. There's some of the kids have gone over to Europe. So, you could try to watch some games on video, but you don't know, like for me, I don't know what the league is like in Slovenia or Sweden or Italy or Switzerland, wherever the players are, because they're all in different, and some of them are playing against younger players, some of them are in higher tier leagues, some of them are playing against full-on men. So there's that element. You don't really know, how does that league compare to the OHL?
Video is great. Video is good, but it doesn't compare to a live viewing. So, once the hockey and everything's back to normal again, it'll be live views. I mean, that's not going to change.
Yeah, well, right now the draft's slated for July. My schedule, honestly, for the last 8-10 months has been driven almost solely based on my hockey business and development business. We haven't had a ton of stuff to do with Pittsburgh. We've had some Zoom interviews and some get-togethers. We obviously went through a general manager change. And then the scouting element, I certainly missed that. I've scouted 2 games since March of 2020. The 2 games I went to, holy smokes, I was cold. I feel like my body's not acclimatized to back into the rinks, but fingers crossed that hopefully we can get going here in mid-April. I've got a lot of young players who are in that same boat that are, looking at their hockey careers and the chance in the OHL, and it's like they just want to play. They're just dying to get back and play.
It is kind of alarming that there hasn't been a whole lot for the news, about when the OHL is coming back. I mean, they really haven't, shared their plan with the public. So it's basically, people trying to find out through GMs that they have a good rapport with, or coaches that they have a good rapport with, if they can give you any information. You've got
the overage player in the league who's the captain of his OHL team is like, okay, I haven't been to any development camps. I went to American League team, for this year for a couple months. This is my last chance to try to get a pro contract, and I haven't been able to play. You've got the kids who are coming into their first year in the OHL. They need that first year to understand how fast the game is, how much stronger the guys are, so that when they get into the draft year, they have a chance to try and become impact. I mean, these are guys that were all first-round picks in the OHL. They're pushing to try and be first or second-round picks in the NHL draft. Or then there's the kids in their literal draft year that are like, how am I going to get drafted if nobody sees me play?
We battled it, and we're starting to get back. I mean, the NHL is back, and hopefully, two of the 3 major junior leagues are back playing, and we're just waiting on the Ontario hockey leagues.
This year more than ever is probably you're going to have a player get drafted higher than they should and a player get missed, and it's not going to be anybody's fault. It's just they didn't see them. Like the thing is different. In the OHL, with everything being condensed, there's less time to see the wave. Some guys can start high and then dip and then come back. Some guys start low and then take. So it's. But I think you can't really focus on that. You can only focus on what you see, what you think that the player's going to turn into. And for the people saying that, well, why would we even have that? I think a 10-week season is better than 0 weeks.